Just to wash away the fear. The cold surrounds me now in a sea of lines and dots. The moment life's about, it's quiet now. All I hear is raindrops, 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 raindrops. All I hear is raindrops.
2, 3. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Shoremen on the Sideline. Coming to you again from the Union Hotel North HQ here in the Red and Black Sports Bar. Earl Var joining me again. Great to have your company, Earl. How's it going?
Good, thanks, JB. Just I've got dinner here tonight with a few of the boys that we meet up on Wednesday. So I've just been out shopping to stock the cupboards and feed them tonight. So
yeah, great. Talk us through that dinner. It's with Gary Bort's, Nathan Russell, and normally go around for Taco Tuesday at one of their houses. Is that right?
yeah, so Bortsy organised it. This was about 2 months ago, I think, when I first came back out of lockdown. So Bortsy, Dave, Russ, and we just take turns at each other's houses every Wednesday night, and we pick a dish. Someone organises dessert, and we have a good chat about life and rugby, and in terms of chat about rugby, we all just give Russ an earful of his performance from the weekend, and because he's the midfield saviour apparently. So we just keep him on his toes.
The strike centre. And before we talk about rugby, what's the dish of choice for tonight?
Oh, just a quick nachos, mate. Quick nachos. I'll do a beef and a chicken one for them. So.
Good. Well, it certainly seems to be working, and the boys are certainly playing some very good footy. We'll talk about footy now, and it was another great win at our home away from home at Pittwater. Again, a strong start. We were on the board early. What did you make generally of the game against Southern Districts from Saturday?
Yeah, mate, that first 2.5 minutes when we were on defence, I just thought that, that period sort of reflected where we are at the moment in our defence. Everyone was on the same page. We held them out. They were trying to, I don't know how many phases they played, but it was well over 2.5 minutes of defending, and then in the end they kicked it out and we got the line out. So as you said, we got the ball back from one of their lineouts, and there was a nice little play but in between Gus and Harry, and he strolled over and scored under the post. So that was a good start. But then after that, we actually, for some reason, we struggled at scrum time, got a few penalties against us. We gave a few penalties for offside or infringement at ruck time, so we need to be better in our decision making around that. I think, again, reflected in the stats, we made over 100 more tackles than them. They had 8 minutes more in possession than us. I think the territory was 65% to 35% in us against us. So those little things stack up, and in big games when you're defending for that long, it takes a toll on your attack, and so we weren't able to build too much, but when we did, we were able to get the ball to space and get into our shape and score some good tries from our transition from defence to attack.
We certainly did score some terrific tries. Just on the defence and the early part of the game, how did you feel the psyche of the boys was coming into the game? Obviously off a big high and a big win the week before against Gordon, Southern Districts, another strong opponent, and then with University the week after. How was the psyche of the boys to back up those performances?
It's the same thing, mate. We just need them to understand what their role is for the team for the week. Nail that, and then go and execute our game plan, whether it's in their attacking role or their defensive role. So nothing changes again this week, and that's my expectation of the boys.
And a windy Pittwater Park again. The backline play was pretty to watch at times. That must bring a smile to your face.
Yeah, well, Zach does a lot of work in terms of prepping the boys and figuring out where to attack and what defenders do what. So between himself and Angus Sinclair and Biz, they're coming up with some really good plays, and yes, we're seeing the fruits of their labour that they're putting in their own time.
Talking just a second ago about the scrum having a little bit of difficulty, obviously Dewald Decker with a yellow card, that didn't help. But was it a case of finding a way to win when the scrum was sort of on tenterhooks there for a little while, or how did you approach that moment in the game?
Well, we just needed to hold on for dear life, really. And unfortunately, before that, the referee had already adjudicated that Panda was doing something, that wasn't legal, which meant that he had to go and spend 10 minutes in the bin. But, I thought Jaden Lynch, our young tight head replacement prop, did a good job when he came on. And we were able to, I think we gave away a try in the end when Panda was away. But that was just down to a missed tackle, really, and misread in our defensive line. But it was a long, I mean, when you have the TV game, the half times are a little bit longer. So usually half time is 5 minutes to us, for us. So, it's quick messages and backs and forwards, quick message around attack and defence, and then we're back out on the field. Now, when you have 10 minutes, we basically did the same, but we talk a little bit slower and take our time and, rehydrate the boys and make sure that they're ready to go out. But I noticed that when I was going out, after all the talking, there was probably still another minute to go. Sapi and his front row were still in the corner, hatching their plans. So it seemed to work in the end because, we didn't give any penalties away. So you just, I guess you've just got to, adapt to the referee's interpretation in scrummaging. And I think the boys did that really well in the second half.
Yeah, definitely did, and found a way to win and win well. Scored some great tries in that second half. As you said, the TV game. We are the TV game again this week on 7 Flicks, 3:10 against Sydney University. Coming into the game against University, they're off the back of 3 losses in a row, if you can believe. The tables have certainly turned in the last month. What do you make of University this weekend?
Yeah, they seem to be giving games away. Against East 3 weeks ago, they gave a few points away from dropping the ball or the bounce of the ball not going their way. So that's the reason why I think that they've lost their 3 games, but they're still a quality side, and we know what we're in for this week. They're 21-0 up against Gordon on the weekend, using their strong scrum and their line out. They're more from the line out. So again, that's going to come our way, and so it's up to Sapi and SJ to come up with a plan how to stop that.
And speaking of scrum time, we do have a couple of changes, and Dewald Decker, he'll serve a little one-match suspension due to a couple of yellow cards. He's replaced by Isaac Carvu, returning from a hamstring injury. How's Isaac's preparation leading into the game, and how do you think he'll fare?
Yeah, well, he was our number one tight head before his injury, and I guess it's just timely that he returns as Panda's been suspended for 3 yellow cards, and so the work that he's done with Gavin and Jared you just got to trust that he's done all the right things, and he's prepared and ready to go. So we've got Jaden fresh on the bench this week, and we'll just play Isaac for as long as he can go.
And one change in the back line with Reece Martin coming back in. Not too much changes with his straight swap with Kepu Lokatui?
No, it was easy. Reece has cemented that left wing spot all season, and just because he was out injured with a caught thigh for a week doesn't change our thinking of what he brings to the team. So he comes back straight away.
And another special cup this weekend. We play for the John Thornett Cup, a real legend of Norse rugby and Australian rugby. You've been brought up to speed pretty well with the history of the club. How's the knowledge of John Thornett, and how special is it to play for his cup this weekend?
Well, it's special for the club to play for any cup, and I don't think we've held it for a couple of years. So the boys will have that in the back of the mind, but we've still got a job to do, and make sure that we execute our game plan.
Well said. Well, with another massive round coming up this weekend, the penultimate round of the competition, it's certainly heating up on and off the field. If you can't make it to the game, because tickets have sold out pretty quick, the North's red and black bar with the game on TV will be a pretty good spot to watch. Make a booking, head down to the Union Hotel, and Earl, once again, good luck. Another big game coming up.
Thanks, JB.
Cheers, mate. 3. Welcome back to part 2 of the Shoremen on the sideline this week. Joining me in the beer garden here at the Union Hotel is try-scoring hooker James Margan. Welcome, Margs, and congratulations on making a debut on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Honoured to be here. Honestly, it is. I've watched all the series so far, so it's good to be involved.
Yeah, great. And, mate, you've had some recent success on the field, but also off the field, and copying plenty of advice on how to do these interviews, mate. Any advice you can share?
Hey?
Any advice you can share from the weekend?
Yeah, don't be so arrogant, probably, is one of them. Probably shut up 30 seconds quicker than I would have liked to have, but, can't take it back now, and put under 30 seconds warning, so thought I did well considering, but it's ruffled a few feathers, which is always good. I like to do that, so... Yeah,
absolutely. Well, it's got people talking and talking about things for the right reason, mate. The form on the field's been good. 6 tries. What are you putting down to?
Right place, right time. No, I don't know. I can't really pass, so it's either that or carry. So I don't know. I've just been lucky enough, as I said in that interview from Saturday. We've just got such a good system now where, and everyone's loving their footy and everyone's excited. And when we get the ball in hand, everyone wants to do their part. And I mean, I'm lucky enough to score the tries, but if you watch from the weekend, it comes off the back of Bizzer making a 30-metre break, going inside to Duffy, Max Bury going to 9, hitting Sings, who finds me out on the wing as a hooker. So, that's pretty groundbreaking footy, I reckon. And it's not something that, I haven't seen North do for a while, and maybe I haven't seen footy like that in a show for a while. So I think all the stuff that we've been doing for 10 months, back before COVID and all of that, even back to November down at those shore fields, it's just all the stuff like the groundwork from there's kind of all just become second nature to us. And we found ourselves in a situation where instead of worrying about, who's going to be where or what, it just happens because everyone knows their role so well now, and it's just become second nature. So I'm just lucky enough to find my a bit of space out there and a couple of weak shoulders, or everyone else kind of does the work for me. So over the line. You
made mention in the sheds on Saturday, you were pretty stoked that a couple of tries hadn't come just off rolling mauls. You found yourself in a bit of space, and you showed a bit of toe last week at Chatswood Oval to outrun the hooker. How was that scoring in the corner? Yeah. Well, that was always fun. I don't know. I've always thought I was a bit quicker than the average chode, so I've been blessed with the only good genetics probably I've got from my family is a bit of toe. So I did a lot of work in the off season with some sprint coaches and stuff like that, trying to just figure it out because I used to not run without arms up until this year. So did a bit of work in the off season
and that along with just all the fitness that Gav's been doing with the S&C and loosening me up through the hips and all that type of stuff has really helped. So, yeah, as I said, I've always considered myself pretty quick. So lucky to find space out there, and I'm only had to outrun a 30-year-old, I think. So it wasn't too difficult, but.
And a few people have been asking off the field, where have you come from? But your story starts a little while ago. You were here in 2016 in the first Colts.
Yeah.
And then suffered a pretty bad ankle break a couple of years later. Give us a bit of an understanding of your backstory with Northern Suburbs since 2016.
Since 2016, so first year out of that Colts where we made the grand final and lost to Sydney Uni. What happened? I had a bunged up shoulder from the year before. 2 years of just not, like, I used to not believe in rehab or prehab or anything like that. I used to think I knew everything of that shock. I know. Used to think I knew everything there was to know about my body, and learned the hard way that it didn't. So I had I've still got ongoing shoulder issues with it, but I've just had these dead nerves in my shoulder so I took a year off after that first year. Just wasn't feeling it. And then that next year I had a good pre-season, got ready to get into it, and second trial game or third trial game against Eastwood out at Sutherland there, I snapped my ankle. I snapped my fibula and dislocated my ankle and ripped all the tendons off and it shattered my bones and all this type of stuff. So pretty gnarly thing to have happen, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do after that. But ever since I came to school in Sydney, my goal was always to end up playing the Shute Shield in first grade. So kind of the job wasn't done there, and I had a bit of time to think about it and realize that you actually do have to rehab things properly if you want them to work, and you have to listen to doctors' advice and physios because they know more than you do. So, I just kind of stuck to the plan, and Jared, who's been he's been with me and the club for the whole time, has taken me under his wing a fair bit and taken a special liking to me and really helped me get my ankle back on track. And then, then got to play a full season last year, just had a crook shoulder, but that's all right. Got through the whole season in thirds, which was great, and had a great team, and it was love playing with like Joshy K and Mitch and having those older heads kind of, teach me a fair bit about the club. And as I said, I'd had 2 years off from being a part of North, so I felt not like a bit of a stranger, but almost just like I joined a new club completely. Like, didn't feel that comfortable at training and didn't know this, that, and the other. But, everyone was that's probably what I've learned about North, is that everyone's just come from different backgrounds. Everyone's so understanding and nice and welcoming. So for me, it was pretty quick to get back into the swing of things. And had a good season last year, and unlucky to not make the finals in threes, but we were putting mad performances together and getting crowds there and putting bums in the seats. So it was pretty cool to have that happening in threes. And off the back of that, I didn't get much of a shot last year, but then worked pretty hard in this off season. I live with Nick Duffy, of course, who has played plenty of years in first grade. So I've had him in my ear the whole time, trying to, whenever I have a bit of self-doubt about whether or not I'm good enough or should be there to make it and stuff. Just had a really good off season, worked hard with Sape to try to tweak some things, just like set piece wise. And, probably if COVID didn't happen and that break didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have been able to fix my shoulder in time. But, I was pretty lucky that happened and gave me 3 months or whatever to fix my shoulder. And learned how to throw a line out probably. So, just it's been a bit of a journey, and I'm constantly teetering on the edge of something else going wrong. But every week's been a blessing so far to be able to get back out there and COVID hold off and stuff. And it's just been like this perfect storm that's kind of allowed me to get to the position I am now. So extremely grateful for my time at North so far.
And playing good footy to boot. And just away from rugby, what do you do in your professional life?
So I graduated uni after 5 long years of HECS fees and exams from Sydney Uni, graduating with a degree in business, majoring in banking and marketing. So lucky enough to get a job at Macquarie Bank for my first, which started about a month ago, which in a year of unemployment and things going pear-shaped, I've been pretty lucky with the stuff that's come our way. I thought I was looking down the barrel of probably the worst year of my life, with footy being on hold after a massive pre-season and you know, people not getting jobs and uni being behind. I don't even get to have a graduation ceremony. So, so professionally just started doing that, which has been, steep learning curve, but love a good challenge. And, keeps you busy. So the moment that finishes at 5:15, rush off to training, get down there early, and then, it makes the weeks go quick, but I've been loving it. So, life's all rosy at the moment for me.
And back on the field, we play Sydney University this weekend. Always a tough battle, and they're always a pretty red hot side. What do you make of the uni side we come up against this week?
It's extremely personal, especially when I get to play at Sydney Uni, just to go out there and prove a bit of a point. I'm still really close with all the boys. Connor O'Shea, the 5'8", my housemate, one of my best mates. 1 to 15, I've had beers with many a times in my life, and a lot of Joey's boys out there and stuff like that. So it's they're a strong squad, and everyone knows when it comes to crunch time, if they make finals, that's a grand final team you're versing every time you play them. So can't take them lightly. They've had a couple of tough losses, new blokes coming back, but I know they'll have a point to prove against us, and especially after the stuff I talked in the interview on Saturday. It's probably done the rounds around there, so might have a bit of a target on my back, but it's all right. I like a bit of pressure.
And they normally have a pretty solid front row. The scrum's been performing okay. Where do you see the scrum improvements going this week?
The mighty midgets just get better every week, don't we? That's it. We've I'm lucky enough that they're extremely strong young men, hold their shape really well, and our height's become a bit of an advantage. First time I've ever been able to say that in my life. It's become an advantage for us. We're quick to set. We're mobile around the park, and when it comes to scrum time, we're earlier to position. We fight harder into the battle, and Saturday was our biggest test. Obviously, East, we got rolled a few weeks back. We didn't have the same front row. We had a bit of teething issues and probably a bit of complacency about how good we were up front. But every week we've gotten better at scrummaging, and Thursday Sarpe's puts us through our paces to make sure we're in the best position to perform on Saturday. So, the work he does for us, I don't think it gets enough acknowledgement. How knowledgeable he is about scrums and the prep he does with us, and how much he cares about that, because what Sydney Uni style of footy is scrum penalty, work for a scrum penalty, kick to the corner, maul it over. You know what I mean? It's all that nitty gritty stuff that a lot of teams try to neglect, and I think in the past probably Norse have neglected a fair bit the importance of it, and we've taken the attitude now, especially after last week and the last few weeks, that it's something that we need to get excited for rather than shy away from and just worry about the rest of the footy. Coming up against someone like Tom Robertson and Chris Talakai, who are all super rugby players, we take that challenge pretty personally. I know especially Panda and German, both every week ask if the other bloke's contracted just because they have a point to prove when they get out there. So that's the attitude we've kind of adopted this year. Is we know we're the underdogs every time we come up against someone, but that doesn't matter. So it's going to be a tough battle up front, and I think if we're able to do our job there, the skilled players out in the backs can really have some front foot ball and clean platform to launch off. So as long as we do our job, I think we'll do better.
It's certainly, poised to be a massive game. If we can top that one and stay in the top two coming into the finals would be fantastic. Tickets in 6 minutes. And if you can't make to the game, get down here to North HQ at the Union Hotel. We've got a great big screen. We'll have the game on. And James Margden, good luck for Saturday.
Thank you. Exciting. I hope you all enjoy the game.
Thanks, mate. Good on you.
All right, bye.